Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Study More. So today we are going to do 30 plus MCQs of NCERT Science Standard 7th Chapter 2, that is Nutrition in Animals. And the previous video was about 30 plus MCQs on Chapter 1 Nutrition in Plants. So check the link in the description box. So let's start with the first question and I will also explain you the answers of it. Let's start. First question is, bile is produced in A. Gallbladder, B. Blood, C. Liver, or D. Spleen. So the correct answer is option C, that is liver. And the gallbladder stores bile juice, the blood transports oxygen and carbon dioxide, and the spleen produces white blood cells. Let's see the second question. Cud is the name given to the food of ruminants which is A. Swallowed and undigested, B. Swallowed and partially digested, C. Properly chewed and partially digested, or D. Properly chewed and completely digested. So the correct answer is option B, swallowed and partially digested, and this activity is performed by animals like cow, goat, sheep, etc. So let's see the third question. The false feet of amoeba are used for A. Movement only, B. Capture of food only, C. Capture of food and movement, or D. Exchange of gases only. So the correct answer is option C, capture of food and movement, and these are the false feet of amoeba which are known as pseudopodia and are used for trapping the food. Let's move on to the fourth question. The finger-like outgrowths of amoeba helps to ingest food. However, the finger-like outgrowths of human intestine helps to A. Digest the fatty food substances, B. Make the food soluble, C. Absorb the digested food, or D. Absorb the undigested food. So, the correct answer is option C. Absorb the digested food. Let's move on to the fifth question. The main function of the lacteals of intestine is the absorption of A. Amino acids, B. Glucose and vitamins, C. Lactic acid, or D. Fatty acids and glycerol. So, the correct answer is option D. Fatty acids and glycerol. And this is a lacteal of intestine. Let's see the sixth question. Gastric digestion takes place efficiently in A. Acidic medium, B. Alkaline medium, C. Neutral medium, or D. Highly alkaline medium. So, the correct answer is option A. Acidic medium. Gastric digestion takes place in acidic medium. Let's move on to the seventh question. Which is not digested by humans? A. Protein, B. Fats, C. Glucose, or D. Cellulose. So, the correct answer is option D. Cellulose. Cellulose cannot be digested by humans and the grass is rich in cellulose. Let's move on to the eighth question. How many premolar teeth found in mouth? A. 2, B. 4, C. 6, or D. 8. So, the correct answer is option B. 4. And this is the premolar teeth which has three parts, that is the crown, the upper part, neck and the root. Let's move on to the ninth question. Which of the following pair of teeth differ in structure but are similar in function? A. Canines and incisors, B. Molars and premolars, C. Incisors and molars, or D. Premolars and canines. So, the correct answer is option A. Canines and incisors. Let's move on to the 10th question. Ingestion is the first process of A. Holozoic nutrition, B. Plant nutrition, C. Macronutrition, or D. Micronutrition. So, the correct answer is option A. Holozoic nutrition. Ingestion is the first process of holozoic nutrition. Let's move on to the 11th question. Digestion is the breakdown of complex food materials into A. Complex material, B. Raw material, C. Simple material, or D. None of these. So, the correct answer is option C. Simple material. Let's move on to the 12th question. So, the 12th question is digestion of food finishes in which part of our digestive system? A. Stomach, B. Small intestine, C. Liver, or D. Large intestine. So, the correct answer is option D. Large intestine. And from the large intestine, the undigested food comes out from the anus. Let's move on to the 13th question. The pancreatic juice which is secreted by pancreas acts on A. Carbohydrates, B. Proteins, C. Fats, or D. All of the above. So, the correct answer is option D. All of the above. Let's move on to the 14th question. And before moving on to the 14th question, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, all these are nutrients. Let's move on to the 14th question now. Which of the following is not a part of our digestive system? A. Mouth cavity, B. Stomach, C. Food pipe, or D. Windpipe. So, the correct answer is option D. Windpipe. As you can see, as we chew the food comes from the oesophagus that is known as food pipe, and beside that is windpipe which is known as trachea. Let's move on to the 15th question. Largest gland in our body is A. Liver, B. Salivary gland, C. Pancreas, or D. Gallbladder. So, the correct answer is option A. Liver. Let's move on to the 16th question. The acid secreted in the stomach is A. Hydrochloric acid, B. Sulfuric acid, C. Phosphoric acid, or D. Nitric acid. So, the correct answer is option A. Hydrochloric acid. Sorry, the spelling of phosphoric is wrong. Let's move on to the 17th question. The components of food absorbed in large intestine is A. Carbohydrates, B. Protein, C. Water, or D. Fats. So, the correct answer is option C. Water. Large intestine absorbs water. Let's move on to the 18th question. Bile plays an important role in digestion of A. Proteins, B. Starch, C. Fats, or D. None of these. So, the correct answer is option C. Fats. Bile plays an important role in digestion of fats. Let's move on to the 19th question. Humans can digest cellulose. A. Yes. B. No. C. Can't say. Or D. None of these. I have already told you about this. So, the correct answer is option B. No. Humans cannot digest cellulose. Let's move on to the 20th question. Leftover food in teeth release which gradually damages teeth. A. Bases, B. Acids, C. Salts, or D. None of these. So, the correct answer is option B. Acids. Leftover food in the teeth releases acid which gradually damages our teeth. Let's see the 21st question. The front part of tongue is sensitive to which of the following taste? A. Sweet, B. Sour, C. Salty, or D. Bitter. The front part. So, the correct answer is option A. Sweet. As you can see, here is a picture of tongue. The first part is bitter, the inner one. The second one is salty. The third one is sour. And the front part is sweet. Let's move on to the 22nd question. The digestion of starch starts in A. Mouth, B. Stomach, C. Small intestine, or D. None of these. The digestion of starch. So, the correct answer is option A. Mouth. As we chew the food, the starch is converted into sugar and goes through the food pipe. Let's move on to the next question. The part of digestive system where no digestion takes place is A. Mouth, B. Stomach, C. Esophagus, or D. Small intestine. So, the correct answer is option C. Esophagus. The food only goes from the esophagus, but it is not a part of digestive system. Let's move on to the next question. Grass-eating animals quickly swallow the grass and store it in a part of stomach called, I have already told you about this, A. Gallbladder, B. Rumen, C. Lower stomach, or D. None of these. So, the correct answer is option B. Rumen. As you can see the picture of goat over here. So, let's move on to the next question. Grass is rich in, this also I have explained you. A. Proteins, B. Starch, C. Cellulose, or D. None of these. So, the correct answer is option C. Cellulose. Grass is rich in cellulose, but humans cannot digest it. Let's move on to the next question. In amoeba, the food particles are trapped in, this is a very easy question. A. Pseudopodia, B. Food vacuole, C. Stomach, or D. All of the above. That is all. So, the correct answer is option A. Pseudopodia. Amoeba has legs like false feet which are known as pseudopodia which traps the food particles. Let's move on to the next question. Number of canines present in an adult are A. 4, B. 6, C. 8, or D. 16. So, the correct answer is option A. 4. There are 4 canines present in adult teeth. Let's move on to the next question. Diarrhea is caused due to A. Infection, B. Indigestion, C. Poisoning, or D. All of the above. So, the correct answer is option D. All of the above. Infection, indigestion, poisoning. These are all the causes of diarrhea. Let's move on to the 29th question. Length of small intestine is A. 10.5 m long, that is meter. B. 40 meter long, C. 23.4 m long, or D. 7.5 m long. How much is the small intestine? What is the length of it? So, the correct answer is option D. 7.5 m long. As you can see over there, the large intestine is 1.5 meter and the small intestine is 7.5 meter. So, the small intestine is longer than the large intestine. Let's move on to the last question, that is the 30th question. The stomach is a thick-walled bag of shape A. V shape, B. U shape, C. X shape, or D. Z shape. So the correct answer is option B, U shape. As you can see in this picture, the stomach is in the U shape. So let's see the next thing. State whether the statements are true or false. You have to state whether the statements are true or false. So let's start. The breakdown of complex substance into simpler substance is called digestion. So this statement is a true statement. So let's see the second question. Amoeba is a many-celled animal. So this statement is a false statement. Amoeba is an organism which has only a single cell. Let's see the next question. Salivary glands secrete saliva. So this statement is also a true statement. Let's see the fourth question. Ruminants are curd-chewing animals. So this statement is also a true statement. Let's move on to the fifth question. There are 4 kinds of permanent teeth in our mouth. So this statement is a false statement. Let's move on to the sixth question. I have written 7. Large intestine is the longest part of digestive system of human. Which is the longest part? So this statement is a false statement. The longest part is small intestine. Let's move on to the next question. Ruminants have 4 chambers of stomach. So this statement is a true statement. The curd-chewing animals, which are known as ruminants, have 4 chambers of the stomach. Let's see the ninth question. Grass is rich in cellulose. This is very easy. So this statement is a true statement. Grass is rich in cellulose. Let's see the last question. Bile acts on fat present in the food. And this statement is also a true statement. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and comment on this video and also subscribe my channel. Thank you. Meet you in the next video.